welcome to Project Geospatial. I'm Adam Simmons with another interview here at the 2021 GEOINT Symposium. And here with me is Nadine Alameh with the, that's OGC, that's the Open Geospatial Consortium, right?
Yes.
So tell me what your role is in Open Geospatial Consortium and, well, what brings you here at the conference?
Yeah.
That's a loaded question, so.
No, I'm very excited to be here because it's a face-to-face conference. We're meeting for the first time. There's so much energy. So yes, I'm Nadine, the CEO, actually, of the Open Geospatial Consortium. I've been the CEO for about a couple of years now because this is the time to be in geospatial.
Why would you say that?
Are you kidding me?
I am not kidding you. Why is it a good time to be in geospatial?
Because finally we're out of that bubble. Right, we used to be this niche, we know how to do the location and the geospatial and the processing and the 3D, and now, if I look at OGC, we have Epic Games, right, a member of OGC, Metaverse, right? You've got Apple, indoor mapping of everything indoor, that's geospatial. You got, what's happening at GEOINT Forward, all the Earth observation and what you can do with it. It's the genie is out of the box. That's why it's an amazing time.
So talk to me a little bit about. Well, first of all, what is OGC? What do they do? What did you start out doing? What do people know you as? Because I definitely want to touch on some of those companies that you just mentioned there.
So a little bit about myself, and then you'll see why OGC. So I did my studies in geospatial information systems, GIS, everything. PhD was great. Went to NASA, did Earth observation, and then I said, okay, I just want to start a business, right? So you go start a business. As soon as people know that you know geospatial, they say, can you apply your geospatial expertise? So I ended up in consulting, ended up in aviation. So I started a business in aviation. I know nothing about it, but then guess what? Airport maps, airspace configurations, flight plans, weather, geospatial. So I'm like, I give up. Let's go to OGC, which is the Open Geospatial Consortium. So OGC, it's like a full circle to me because OGC is about 27 years old now. It's because that's why I'm saying we're finally out of that bubble, right? There's amazing foundation that got us to this place, right? And so the nice thing about this is we used to be known, OGC, as the standards for exchanging information, for accessing information, finding information. What I see OGC as, since I came on board, is actually, it's a community. It's this, what we're witnessing here today. It's a community of collective problem-solving community, right? Of geospatial experts, geospatial users that are, I think, at the heart of it, we're trying to make this geospatial information, we call it fair. Findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. Fair. And so, think about it, if you put a global community of experts trying to open the data and make it more easily accessible, just by having these people together, the standards flow. You get your standards because you're trying to solve specific problems. The topic of many topics in this conference. You get the best practices, you get the partnerships, and that's to me is OGC.
So how does OGC build these communities? How do they get this information to not just the participants here at GEOINT, but how do they foster a community among, we'll call it the younger generation who's just coming into the fold?
That's an amazing question because it's a challenge, right? I think we need to figure it out ourselves and part of why we're doing this. OGC is a membership organization, so you have the 550 members. Many of them you would recognize, but also many of them these days you don't recognize because they're the startups. They're the .ai, the .io, the new generation, right? Which we need to really expand on. So the way we're doing it is we're trying to make even the standards, the technical information, more accessible to the new generation of developers. So instead of big volumes of standards, it's actually your sample code, there's open source code, Here's open APIs, right? So you get the developers. So at least that's one end, right? Get the new generation of developers to just use what we have in this community without thinking that they're, or knowing even that they're using Geospatial. So you lower the barrier and you expand, you open the eyes.
So what are new ways that OGC is evolving in, well, in the recent years, and what are your plans here for the future?
That's another great question.
Well, let me back up a
yes.
second. One of the things I caught when you introduced OGC is you mentioned Epic Games.
Yes.
What does Epic Games have anything to do with Geospatial and OGC?
The metaverse.
The metaverse.
I'm telling you, my kids are 9 and 14 years old, 2 boys.
I'm a huge gamer. I'm very familiar with Epic Games.
I have video game addicts in my house. That's what I say. So, and it's because I love how our worlds are finally coming together. It's the metaverse, or the metaverses, and we have a panel, by the way, on the metaverse. But think about it, we're finally at a point where we can bring everything we know about geospatial, the Earth modeling, the 3D, the terrains, the imagery, the building information. We're talking about the indoor location, and you bring it into, you bridge the physical and the virtual, so we can have that complete environment. That's why.
And I would say that's one thing Epic probably does really well, and all the video game industry really well, is they've done 3D modeling for years, probably a lot better and easier than we've had. So they've had to streamline these games, make it more realistic year after year. So seeing a bridge between our industry and theirs is really, really fascinating.
It's so cool. So I saw this one of our members, Cecil, they're also presenting here. And they have this maybe 1 minute clip where they show in the gaming environment, right, a drone flying over a beach, taking pictures or whatever video, and then you see the waves of the ocean. And what was amazing to me is all of it was real data, so we're not faking Hollywood anymore.
No.
So that's why actually we have people from Hollywood interested in geospatial right now. This is how cool it is, because you can model the waves, right? Because you have the data, you have everything. And what you see here is then when they talk about digital twin, this is it. So yes, I'm very excited.
Awesome, that's great. Is there anything else about the OGC you'd like to relay to the audience here while GEOINT?
Yes, again, we go back to it's a community effort. So we need to talk to each other a little bit more, because what I see sometimes, or maybe what I fear sometimes, is we're all excited, right? And there are so many applications. Transportation, health, COVID, sporting events. I mean, infrastructure, insurance, everything, right, on the earth. And in our excitement, sometimes we reinvent the wheel. You do your thing, I do my thing, but we're actually both doing the same, sequence of workflows and processing and whatever. And I think my message is we should talk to each other more, and I see OGC as the environment where we can share what we're doing across the domains and across the technology, so we don't just all do the same thing.
Interoperability and compatibility, right?
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on with us, talking about OGC, who you are, and some of the awesome things that OGC is evolving to do. Building a community, right? Building a bigger and closer community, which is what I think this conference is really about as well. So you're in the perfect spot for it, right?
I love it. So we have a great partnership with USGIF, and this is our first event in person. Go USGIF, go Geo. So I'm really happy to be here. Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming on with us, and we hope to talk with you again next time.
Yes.